You could just say they're building. They have a lot of freshmen. Notice today also we have 5 sophomores starting the game for Daytona State.
And Daytona State, of course, with the last regular season home game, the 5 sophomores starting: Robinson, Walker, Green, Atmore, and Sam. And of course, a lot of talent right there. Sam shoots it over 50% from the field, in the top 10 in the state. And Walker nearly 12 points per game for head coach Janice Washington in her 3rd season at the helm. A great coach. She's coached 10 different Mid-Florida Conference selections, all conference selections, 1 NJCAA All-American as well during her tenure. She was an assistant, by the way, at her alma mater, Campbell University, before taking the job. And back in her playing days, she was a 4-year starter. So a terrific head coach for this program. As we're underway inside the Lemerand Center, Daytona State, the home team in the home whites with the blue trim. The Blue Wave from Jacksonville in the pink uniforms today in honor of breast cancer awareness.
Yeah, I was just talking to Coach Washington prior to the game. Storied pass, real positive way. Very much a firm believer in, the athletic scholars that she has in this team for the Falcons.
And the Falcons working around. Walker now up top and penetrating. Goes Atmore and draws the foul in the paint. And she'll go to the free throw line.
And I can tell you, just from when I was talking to Coach Washington, this is the exact start she wanted, even though it's very early in the game, right? Because she was saying they come out a little bit lax sometimes, a little lackadaisical. And she said, I want to get those fundamentals solid, look at this as a game, not on paper, but certainly as we're working on our skills and our fundamentals.
Always coaching. Walker knocks down the first free throw, 1 more to come. This 5'9" sophomore from just to the south of here, New Smyrna Beach, Florida. And she makes 1 of 2. And the first possession for the Blue Wave. Try to finish the season, which has been, as we talk about, a rough season, as that one is poked away from behind by Green. As try to finish the season on a positive note as they head into the postseason. Of course, the Mid-Florida Conference postseason getting underway in just a couple of days. We'll get into that a little bit more as the broadcast in the afternoon goes on today. Shot clock under 10. Penetrating inside. Off the glass, no good. As Sampson misses. Second chance opportunity. Puts it up, Mansell, no. And Daytona State out of there with it.
Yeah, a couple of easy opportunities under the rim there for the Blue Wave.
No look pass is poked away. Falcons lucky to get that one back as Walker is long on the 3-point attempt.
We're going north and south here pretty quick, Tom.
Minute and a half gone. Opening quarter in Daytona Beach. 3-ball off the mark. And they get it outside, and Atmore's going to reset the offense for the Falcons. They are coming into this game after having beaten the College of Central Florida 96-64 last Saturday. So they've had 7 days off to get set for the final game of the regular season and, of course, the Mid-Florida Conference postseason, which gets underway this coming week.
Looked like a foul there, but the referee missed Jayla Atmore taking it in the eye.
We saw that little poke in the eye. It's certainly a basketball play, nothing intentional. Never fun, though. As Florida State College looking to get on the board. Nice double clutch. Just off the mark that time for DeMerit. And all the way go the Falcons. And the bucket for Green.
Saw that lefty dribble all the way down. Hard to guard those lefties.
A pull up from the free throw line as Alicia DeMerit has the Blue Wave on the scoreboard. This Daytona State team with a record of 19-9 on the year. They are 6-2 in conference play. Inside and off the glass goes Melissa Sam. A strong move in the paint.
Oh, Sam, I don't know if she meant to kiss the glass on it, but it looked pretty from here.
Going to be one of the toughest players to guard for the Blue Wave throughout this game will be Melissa Sam. She's the 5'10" forward. Of course, again, all sophomores starting the final regular season home game today. She hails from Winter Haven, Florida. Again, the shot clock ticks under 10 for Florida State College and taken right away. Atmore finishes the deal at the other end, and defense leads to offense for the Falcons.
Atmore making that look real easy on that steal, and then the bucket.
3 ball as Jacksonville and Gift Sampson answering right back, trying to stay in this one here in the early going. It's going to be really important, I think, for the Blue Wave. They've been blown out twice by the Falcons to keep it close early, gain a little confidence, as that one was rejected out of bounds by Sampson.
Oh, as we look at it, here it comes. Talking about that steal just a moment ago.
Let's telegraph that pass. Off to the races and able to finish.
Atmore looking real ambidextrous.
Shot underneath. No good from Maddie Batista, who just checked in. She's one of the talented freshmen on this team.
Just checked in.
Foul.
And just picked one up.
That's right. 6'4" is Maddie Batista. Talk about tough to guard. That's not going to be easy.
No.
Off the glass for Demerit, and the Blue Wave tie the game at 7 apiece. Hanging in there early. Batista, we talked about the freshman for Daytona State, often starts, but not today as Janice Washington chose to start all sophomores, and Sam with another terrific move inside down on the blocks.
Sam with a beautiful reverse spin move into the bucket. Gorgeous.
There's Gift Sampson called for steps as they turn it over. Melissa Sam playing great defense that time for the Falcons.
I don't know if you got a chance to see the head ref, how he signaled that was traveling. He has some spunk and persona. I saw the way he did that.
Our officials today, we'll get to those in a second. Short on the three is Carmela Walker, and a one and done for Daytona State on that trip down the floor. As we tick towards 5 minutes left, off the glass, no good, but the offensive rebound taken by Demerit for the Blue Wave. And a long three, no. Jacksonville getting some good looks here in the early going. And they take it right away. It is Demerit. Little 2-on-2 for the Blue Wave, and Demerit keeps it herself and is able to finish.
Good job. Good job by Demerit. Paris was kind of caught in no man's land there.
And that pass a little bit behind that time. Williams.
And this is a little bit like what Coach Washington was telling me in the pregame. A little bit of a slow start as far as she's concerned for her Falcons.
Yeah, a 30-second timeout.
Timeout, yeah.
Called for by Coach Washington. Of course, that turnover is going to be a point of emphasis, I'm sure, in this huddle right now for Coach Washington. And, of course, over on the other side, Coach Wooten in her third season. Like you said, Ted, they're building, growing towards the future. Just 1-7 in conference play this year, and of those 7 losses we talked about, 2 of them have been to this great Falcons team. So maybe the third time will be the charm. Even if they can't win, keep it a little bit closer and gain a little confidence.
Well, although as far as conference play and overall stats, this isn't as meaningful perhaps as some other games that both teams have played, but certainly you want to keep the key fundamentals in order for the Falcons, which are obviously going on to mid-conference playoffs. And there's just been a few breakdowns, and that's why Coach Washington said, okay, 30-second timeout.
Yeah,
let's talk, right.
Bryant up top. Sampson off the mark. Just beating the shot clock. As we tick under 4 minutes to play here in the opening quarter. Pull up from 14 feet, no good. But underneath Walker, and she draws the foul. And we'll head to the line. And
call it. Charge.
It is an offensive foul that's going to go against Daytona State. And Janice Washington halfway down the sideline here towards the scorer's table, needing a little bit more explanation on that one.
Yeah, I have never seen a charge from somebody going backward into, that's a first for me. I know it happens, but that's the first time I've seen it in live play.
The official, Shendell Bryant, was right there. He's joined today by Anthony Gordon and Christina Carbo, the 3 officials for this game. Ball knocked out of bounds. Last touched by the Falcons, says Shendell Bryant.
Yeah, Bryant had a pretty good, eye where that was. He was right on the play.
We're tied at 9. Just over 3.5 minutes left to play in the opening quarter. This is our first of 2 games today, our broadcast here for WDSC.
How lucky am I to be with you for a doubleheader,
hey,
Tom James?
We've got a great afternoon ahead of us, my friend. A drive to the basket. That time by Bryant, and she draws the foul. So Bryant will shoot a pair from the line. Monique Bryant, one of the great scorers, the leading scorer on this team, Florida State College of Jacksonville, averaging over 13.5 a game as she misses on the first free throw. Explosive player, though.
Been active so far with almost 7 minutes gone in this first quarter. Yeah, somebody's.
So she missed the free throw. That's right, Ted. And it missed the free throw, but she'll get another one because of lane violation on Daytona State. And gets a second chance and knocks it down. I think it was Maddie Batista who was in the lane for the Falcons.
And the first lead for the Blue Wave.
How about that? Inside, Daytona State making that extra pass. Sam to Batista, but it's poked away.
Nice idea. There was just too many bodies in traffic there.
Mansell now to Bryant. And a pull-up from the elbow is no good from Ross. Ross just coming into the game for the Blue Wave. And possession will go to Daytona State as a Jacksonville player still down on the floor and in some pain down there at the baseline.
Yeah, couldn't tell what happened there.
I believe it's Ross.
Let me see. Yeah, it looks like 22 Ross. Yeah.
Check that. It's going to be number 21, Kayla Mansell, down. And maybe an inadvertent knee right there to the back of the head as everybody just kind of hustling to try to get control of that basketball. One of those 50-50 plays.
All right.
Slow to get up, but does make it to her feet. And tough young lady right there is going to head off for a few moments as her head coach, Coach Wooten, went down to check on her. So we certainly hope she will be okay. Florida State College of Jacksonville leading Daytona State right now, 10-9 with 2:44 remaining. We're in the opening quarter here in the Lemerand Center. Got the men's game to follow. Approximate 4 o'clock tip-off. We'll have that one for you live as well. And that shot will not count as traveling is the call. Another turnover for the Falcons. That one, Jayla Atmore, a sophomore from Winter Haven.
The way that she came down might have been a little bit odd, but surprising that the referee called that for a travel because she did not move both feet when she did land. So surprising call there from the referee.
To Merritt with a strong move down the lane past the defense. And the hoop. And a 3-point lead now for the Blue Wave on a 5-0 run.
And good to see Kayla Mansell back in the building. Shaken up a little bit, but looks like she's going to be all right.
Good to have her. She passes our broadcast position, and Daytona State getting a little sloppy with it there again offensively. An errant pass, they throw it away. That three is no good, but they're letting the Blue Wave hang around here in the early stages here in the first quarter.
A little frustration there by Atmore.
Walker, and that's an offensive foul against the Falcons.
Yeah, I mean, she went into a wall there.
First foul against Walker. Yeah, the fourth team foul, and there was another look at it from behind the basket. Good call from the official. With $1:30 to play in the quarter. A quick possession.
They got numbers.
And a great pass that time underneath. Sam to Walker for the bucket and the foul.
Hasn't that been a combo all season long?
All year long. What a tandem that they have turned out to be. Both Sam and Batista offensively, they both shoot it over 50% from the field. They're both in the top 10 in the state in shooting. A little give and go right there. That's the way you run the break.
Exactly. A little wall ball, as we call it, as well in soccer when you and I have done that.
Absolutely. Tom. So we'll see if Carmella Walker can complete the three-point play, and she does.
Converts.
And just like that, the Falcons draw even again with FSC from Jacksonville.
Coming down here to a minute of play.
Mansell, the give off, and the bucket from Ross, but that's going to be called an offensive foul. So wave that one off.
I tell you, that's, block charge, hardest call to make, and whether it's pro or college or high school, always difficult for the referees. There's a giveaway.
Poke away right there. Inside from Harris. You got to hand it to both of these teams' defense on the interior so far in this game this afternoon. As that one missed from the outside, but drawing charges on both sides of both ends of the floor. Tough defense under the basket. Final minute of the opening stanza here in the women's game at the Lemerand Center this afternoon. And a bump and a foul called on the outside against Zoe Grismore. So that's 2 on Grismore. That'll be something to watch. This Blue Wave team today the bench is not deep. They have dressed just 7 players today, has Florida State College of Jacksonville. So foul trouble would be a very difficult thing to overcome.
Exactly.
Walker knocks down the free throw to put the Falcons back in front.
And also, you talk about fuel in the tank with only 2 subs, where, Daytona State, I mean, they've got 15 young ladies ready to play.
That's right.
Suited up.
Both free throws are good, and Coach Wooten's probably would like to yell down to Coach Washington, can I borrow a couple of your players for this game this afternoon? I could use a few.
Yeah, really.
Let's even this thing out a little bit.
No, that's a surprising point that you just made with only 2 subs on the bench.
Final 20 seconds. It's been a positive first quarter for the Blue Wave. See if they can draw even, perhaps. 10 seconds to play. Along the baseline, Ross, no good, gets her own rebound and the stick back to tie it at 14.
He's going to have to throw it up there.
One last look, and just off the front iron. Good look at it from Paris Williams, but not to be.
I like the effort. Just hit the front of the rim. That would have gone in with a little bit more oomph.
Timed it right, just across midcourt. So after 1 quarter, here at the Lemerand Center,
and
Florida
you hear
State College of Jacksonville is 14 and Daytona State 14.
I mean, you hear the background music, Tom. And I'm sure in Coach Wooten right now is saying that's the way I like it.
So far, so good. Fan of the Blue Wave, absolutely. Well, they're hanging in there in this game. Again, you know, this is a team that they lost to by 2 huge margins earlier in the season. So, you know, to be 10 minutes into the game and still be dead even. A great way to finish there with that bucket underneath in the closing seconds. Got to be a big confidence booster as Ross was able to convert there.
Yeah, Daytona State has not converted any three-pointers thus far, whereas I think the Blue Wave have at least caught one of them. I'm going to say Coach Washington made a prophetic statement when I was talking to her previously, and that was, you know, we usually get off to a slow start, unfortunately, and I'm trying to get away from that because you know what? They go into mid-conference playoffs.
Yeah.
They can't afford that.
You know, what stands out, some of the positive and the negative for Coach Washington is you see her there getting set for the second quarter. They're 5 of 9 from the field, so they've been efficient from the field, shooting over 55%. They've turned it over, though, 7 times.
Right.
And that is not going to bring a smile to Coach Washington's face. They do have the edge in rebounds at 10-6. And a collision up near midcourt and a foul. That'll be against Harris. And Daytona State will have the basketball.
Yeah, I just heard the referee say that was an illegal screen. That's why he called it. Coach Wooten was being a little bit defiant about that call, but the referee was in a very good place to see it.
In the lane, the pull-up from 13 feet, no good that time.
Nice save there from Ross.
As Batista missing on her first shot attempt so far this afternoon. Underneath, and Grismore scores the bucket.
Grismore.
Blue Wave back in front.
Showing no fear there, right to the bucket.
Taken away. Great defense from Grismore. You know, you watch, Ted, you watch this Blue Wave team. This team is just 4-22 on the season. It just feels like there's a lot more talent on this roster than what you might think of a 4-22 team as.
With this freshman-packed team, and there it is again. Gorgeous mid-range jumper.
Kayla Mansell, her first points.
And extending the lead.
And Jacksonville's largest lead now, 4-point game. 8.5 minutes to play, and a foul called for underneath that time. As Daytona State still looking for their first points of the quarter.
Coach Washington barking out some orders. And there is a,
that's going to be an over and back. As Fulton tracked it down just before half court, and her momentum took her over the line into the backcourt, and so that is a turnover. So a great start to the second quarter right now for Florida State College of Jacksonville. Opening couple of minutes, and they've opened up a 4-point lead.
And there are those turnovers again. Really the demons in the paperwork there for Daytona State.
They dump it down low. It's taken away, though, as Batista moves it ahead. Batista kicking it back outside. Williams cut off. And a 3-ball. Green's got it. Big splash from the right wing, and the first 3-pointer of the afternoon for Daytona State as Green cuts the deficit to 1.
That was a total swoosh. Nicely done.
1-point ball game, and it's been an entertaining game so far this afternoon.
Yeah, there's been a lot of pace to it. Hasn't been really too slow from end to end thus far, Tom. And there's a travel.
Yeah, shuffle of the feet as Zoe Grismore was looking to get a step on the defender, but she turns it over.
And frequently going to the bench is Coach Wooten to give certain players breathers.
Yeah.
Because she's only got to 2.
Yeah, try to rotate as best you can to keep everybody as fresh as possible. And Brooke Worrell fouled on the way to the hoop, and she'll head to the free throw line. And more bad news right now for Coach Wooten. So that is 3 personal fouls on Mansell.
And you think of the strategy that you'd want to use if you were Coach Washington. You certainly want to get into the lane and make them commit fouls because their bench is not deep.
Check that with Grismore has picked up her 3rd foul.
And as we know in college, 5 fouls, you're out. Not 6 like the pros get.
Worrell averaging 7.5 points a game and makes both free throws.
Like the rotation on that ball from Worrell.
That's a good stroke. And a 5-0 run right now for the Falcons, and they have retaken the lead at the 7:25 mark of the second quarter, 19-18 over the visiting Blue Wave.
Hey, if you're a spectator and sitting in the stands right now, it's been a barn burner so far.
Had a good game.
Seesaw of leads.
Jacksonville's last game was Wednesday night. They lost on the road in Ocala as a 3-pointer off the glass from Grismore. She's got 5 quick points. They lost by 15 at the College of Central Florida Wednesday night, 57-42. All the way and rejected, but the official says there was contact under there.
Caught a piece of Paris Williams.
Darina Harris. That's 2 on Harris.
What was really interesting about that play was as Paris Williams started to drive toward the bucket, you could see Sam just shuttling a couple of players away from her so she'd have a clear lane.
Makes 1 of 2. Tied at 20 apiece. And out of bounds. It was last touched, says the official, by, well, no, they're going to give it to Daytona State. At first it was signaled that it would be Jacksonville basketball. So the Falcons have it, trying to break a 20-20 tie. Inside and pass a little bit behind Green. And a foul underneath. Called against Fulton of Daytona State.
Grismore has been active. Impressed with her play thus far today.
Had a great second quarter already with 5 points.
Jacksonville in the bonus. Sorry, not in the bonus quite yet.
Not in the bonus, and they'll inbound from the baseline. And on the full shot clock after the foul, nearly taken away underneath. A little fall away jumper, no good. But Jacksonville regains control, and it's Bryant that scores. And a 30-second timeout called for by Coach Wooten. You know, that's another thing that she can do is use wisely, space those timeouts out a little bit for built-in moments of respite for her players.
Actually, Coach Washington taking a timeout here, although she wants to regroup, kind of helps Jacksonville for a little bit here as they get a breather.
6:14 left to play here in the second quarter, and Janice Washington.
As you look at the look of scorn on Coach Washington's face, certainly not pleased. A lot of turnovers, a lot of sloppy play right now by the Falcons.
Well, and you wonder, this is a team that is very disciplined under Coach Washington, but they have already secured the number 2 seed in the Mid-Florida Conference playoffs, and they will host a game on Tuesday night. So that is for sure. They're not necessarily playing for anything today in this game. So you wonder, after a week off and headed into a sure game on Tuesday, you know where you stand already. If that changes your motivation for a game like this today. And a tough collision near midcourt.
Oh, that was a nasty one.
Everybody up and okay. Foul going to go against Bryant of the Blue Wave. And that will send Williams to the free throw line for Daytona State.
I tell you, like the way Williams just popped right up there after a tough foul.
Sure. The St. Pete native, averaging 10 a game. Missing on the free throw. And makes one of two. And we really haven't seen Daytona State, aside from a couple of opportunities coming off of turnovers today, they really haven't had an opportunity to get into transition and shoot threes in transition. And it's something that they like to do more than just working out of the half-court set. But there's a steal. And all the way for the bucket is Paris Williams. And
good
back
read
in
there.
front. Yeah, the Falcons by one. Yeah, great defense, like you say. A good read of that pass.
But even so, right now, Daytona State far below their season average of 72.7 points per game, 73. Calling that off.
Yep, that's an offensive foul as Williams again trying to make something happen for the third consecutive trip down the floor. Little too aggressive perhaps that time as she is called for the offensive charge.
Yeah, she didn't see Gift Sampson, number 4 there, that was holding her ground the whole time. Somehow didn't, pick the head up in the dribble because Sampson was planted.
Danica Hamilton checking into the ball game for the first time today for Coach Washington. Taken away defensively, and it was poked away by Atmore, but it's Hamilton that comes up with it. And she loses the handle. Falcons lucky to get that one back, and a foul on the floor is going to be called against Ross.
Oof. Just what you were talking about before, Tom. Racking up the fouls. 4 fouls.
A dangerous situation with picking up 4 fouls already, and that's the trouble with not having much to substitute with to work with off your bench today is the situation for Coach Wooten.
That's going to be a possible nightmare going into the third and fourth quarters for Coach Wooten.
So Shalise Ross with 4 fouls. Grismore and Harris have 2 apiece. Yeah, taken away again by Daytona State. Penetrating, look at that, slicing through the defense, but the rejection inside. Great defense by Harris. Pass a little too tall, and Demerit unable to handle it underneath. So Daytona State has seized control here, taking a 3-point lead. They're on an 11-4 stretch against the Blue Wave right now. Underneath, great pass. It's unable to finish that time was Williams. Tick under 4 minutes left here in the first half. At the Gail Lemerand Center.
Much closer game than the stats would have suggested.
Collision underneath, and the foul is going to be against the Falcons. That'll go against Melissa Sam. That's second foul on Sam. So an opportunity for Zoe Grismore to shoot a couple of free throws here.
Looks like Sam's going to be coming out, going to be replaced by Lee.
Yeah, Carrie Lee going to come in for the first time, and Gianna Ziara Copeland also making her first appearance in the ball game. Copeland, incidentally, a 6'5" freshman center from Savannah, Georgia. Certainly a lot of height on Coach Washington's bench, and she's going to utilize it.
Yeah, she's definitely got some tall ones there.
As Grismore misses two, there was a lane violation again called against the Falcons for the second time in the half.
Yeah.
I think Coach Washington's making some notes right now about some stuff to talk about at halftime.
It's all like you were saying before, it's been a while since Daytona State has played, but there is a rustiness to them right now.
For the second time, a missed free throw. A lane violation against the Falcons, and on the second opportunity for the Blue Wave, they have ended up making the free throw. So Coach Washington making her bullet points for her halftime speech. There's no question about that. Three ball from outside, way off the mark that time from Green, and kept it alive.
Easy one there.
Third
Two
chance.
easy ones missed.
No good. A fourth chance. It is finally good as Copeland scores the bucket.
Copeland didn't even jump. Just kind of put her hands out and said, give me.
That's what happens when you're 6'5", tallest player in the building, and a little stick-to-itiveness right there from Copeland.
Good
on the fourth attempt is able to score the bucket. And Daytona State back in front by 4.
Oh, that was something. All these other both teammates and opposing players trying to jump there, and she just kind of stood on her tippy toes and said, no, I got this. Well done.
Johnson High School in Savannah, Georgia. Gianna Ziara Copeland, who only averages 4 points a game, a freshman. Continue to see that kind of play underneath, especially with that height. This is something you can't teach, as the old adage goes, and then she will get some more playing time, no doubt about it. Coach Wooten and her club trying to stay fresh, and there is a look at Copeland, number 25 for Daytona State, sitting on the bench right there after that big bucket.
Certainly a future star, most likely, at Daytona State.
Yeah, Coach Washington starting the 5 sophomores today. And only 5 sophomores on the roster. They all got to start. Check that, 6 on the roster, but Myra Williams is out injured. So the 5 that were able to dress today got the start. Everybody else freshmen. So there's a lot of talent all the way down that bench for Coach Washington. The future looks bright. Penetrating to Merritt, no good. Taken away by Lee, and a foul in the backcourt.
Oh boy, and guess how many that's going to be.
That is a tough turn of events right now for Coach Wooten, as we're not to halftime, and Zoe Grismore has fouled out of this game. And only 7 players dressed for the Blue Wave today. And Grismore, not one of the leading scorers on this team, but certainly one of the few bodies that they have available today.
And she was so active today.
Oh,
was doing a great job.
Great job.
That was just kind of a reflex reaction foul. Just couldn't keep her hands away. That's a shame. We'd like to see more playing time for her.
She finishes with 4 points, and do the math. Florida State College of Jacksonville now with 2:24 left in the first half, down to 6 players in uniform. Taken away by Hamilton, freshman, and knocked out of bounds. Great defense by DeMerit. This is a player to watch right here for Daytona State. Danica Hamilton from Deltona, Spruce Creek High School. The player taking that ball, triggered the inbounds play right there. She has got a lot of talent, quick player. There she is in the lane. Great pass. Finding Copeland for the bucket.
That was nice. Outside, inside, found the freebie.
We know about Copeland and her size, but how about this player, Danica Hamilton? You kind of and see her being a real presence ever since she checked in the game earlier here in the second quarter. And that could be a real star of the future for this Falcons ball club. Offensive rebound from Harris. Second opportunity, no good. Harris had it for a moment. But Daytona State on the run. And it's Copeland.
Whoa.
Traveling violation. And boy, you had a good piece of the rim right there, did Copeland. And she's got a big smile on her face right now. Yeah. You think the dunk was on her mind?
I think it was.
Yeah, everybody on the bench
everybody
knows it too.
stood up. And then I hear the rattling of the rim. My goodness.
And another turnover as the defense really starting to wreak havoc for Daytona State. And the bucket on the other end from Atmore as the lead now expands to 9 points as we dip into the final minute here of the first half.
Looks like Grismore is on the sidelines waiting to come back in. I'm going to have to check those stats in a little bit.
5 on the shot clock. DeMeritt, long three, no good. And Copeland with the rebound.
Good save.
Final 30 seconds. About a 2-second difference between the clocks here. Game clock, shot clock. Penetrating in and off the glass for the bucket is Green. And the lead now double figures for the Falcons.
That was a gorgeous look by Green there.
And a shot at the buzzer, no good. And that will do it for the first half. And you got to hand it to the Blue Wave. They hung in there for a long stretch of this first half, Ted, but in the end, Janice Washington's team, with all of its depth, pulling away late, and they head to the locker room with an 11-point lead.
Yeah, this is certainly a momentum maker for Daytona State as they go into the locker room. Coach Wooten, I'm sure she tried to counsel her players about fouling based on just 2 subs. Got to be a little bit disappointed.
Well, it's DeMeritt for Jacksonville, leading all scorers with 8 points at the break for Daytona State. Atmore with 7. Sam and Green both with 6 points. And that has helped Daytona State build an 11-point lead at the break as they lead it 34-23. At Daytona State College, coaches and athletes take academics seriously, and with the new stadium and the support of the athletic community, there are many reasons to consider enrolling at Daytona State College. Let's look at some of the programs offered here at Daytona State College.
You're busy over the holidays. We get it. At Daytona State College, we know a thing or two about how to help you stay on track. Our 7-week express courses start March 18th, so you still have time to get started on a new career. What are you waiting for? Apply today. Lock in your class schedule and financial aid by going to daytonastate.edu/apply or call 386-506-4DSC. It's time to express yourself.
Here at Daytona State College, we have an education program as well as a service program for our student athletes. An athletic trainer is a highly trained, skilled medical professional who's licensed and certified to provide services to a wide range of people with injuries and medical conditions. We collaborate with physicians to provide preventive services, emergency care, clinical diagnosis, therapeutic intervention, rehabilitative services. We probably see an average of 30 or 35 students per day, and that is mostly for treatments before practice and after practice. And that doesn't count the people who just grab an ice bag. We provide most of their medical care, at least in terms of their injuries that they suffer as student athletes. Athletic trainers actually attend all their practices and their games so that if something happens during those practices or games, we are there when it happens. We can see it happen. We know exactly what type of care to provide. Sometimes it's emergency care. Sometimes it's just come and see me after practice and we'll look at that.
So our student athletes have an aquatic center available to them that they can utilize for their workouts, strength conditioning programs. And the benefit of having an aquatic center is they can do some workouts that aren't as tough and helps your muscles and joints kind of have a break for that, but you're still getting a very, very good workout in. Student athletes who are coming back from injuries, they can go in the pool and utilize the pool. Our soccer team, they may have a lot of heated days where they're out in the sun and they're running, and they can come into the pool, still get a great workout in that will benefit them when they go back on the field, but they don't have those other elements that are affecting them. The training you do really varies based upon where you're at within your year training cycles. A team that's in season, they may come in here once or twice a week, and it's really doing more maintenance, not doing heavy weights, but doing exercises and things that will prevent injuries and maintain what they worked for in the off season. Off season, they're probably in here 5 days a week. Every day they're not working on legs, or every day they're not working on arms, but they're splitting up their workouts. So they're in here 5 days a week, working hard and getting after it. Nearly year-round, you'll find our student athletes in here either a couple times a week or every single day.
I'm a nutrition professor here at Daytona State College, and I'm also a sports dietitian that works with all of our athletic teams. So many times I get asked, what should an athlete eat? It's going to depend upon their sport, the position that they play, the time of year, like what part of the season they're in. Are they in season? Are they out of season? But basically, when we think about creating a winning plate, we think about having 3 things on the plate. Number 1 is lean protein. So that could be something like chicken, fish, lean beef. And then to that, we want our athletes to load up on fruits and veggies. So you might have a good portion of the plate be vegetables. And this is to supply vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants that athletes need for recovery. And then the third part of the plate obviously is going to have some carbohydrates on it. And so we prefer them to eat healthy carbs, so maybe something like a sweet potato, brown rice, for example. And carbs are going to give them the fuel to be able to perform and recover from that day's workout.
It's time to claim your career. At Daytona State College, our new Database Technology Associate degree positions students for high-paying jobs managing databases to drive business strategies. Plus, our Engineering Technology Associate degree includes a new specialization in additive manufacturing. That's 3D printing, a rapidly expanding technology. Prepare for a new career or advance where you work now. Call 386-506-4DSC or visit us online at daytonastate.edu.
The Daytona State College of Education is forever grateful to Volusia and Flagler County Schools and our collaborative partnership that allows us to spend this exciting time out in the field working with these wonderful students, doing one-on-one reading instruction 4 days a week.
Daytona State has definitely prepared me for being a teacher with all the fieldwork that we've been able to experience through the program, as well as the support and help from all of our wonderful professors. And being able to work one-on-one with the students has been a wonderful opportunity to experience that already before I get placed in my senior internship.
So today, we're going to learn about something that I think is really fascinating. We're going to be learning about weather balloons.
In the IMES lab, we have state-of-the-art equipment that help us further our research.
be surveying the seagrass beds here at Oak Hills and looking at how they're changing over time.
I love doing this, coming out into the field and actually getting my hands dirty. And
you get to do everything you've ever wanted to do in a marine biology program. You get to go out into the field and actually do the work.
We are truly building a program here for students that are interested in conducting undergraduate research. It's a rather rigorous program for a two-year college.
I'm going out and studying horseshoe crab populations and seeing where their nesting sites are and how often they nest where they are.
The professors motivate us, they inspire us to continue our research and to better ourselves in the scientific community.
This is much better than sitting in a classroom just looking at pictures and listening to people talk. We get to actually feel and see the plants in their natural habitat.
I love this class. I love everything about it, the learning of the names of the flowers. Now it's like putting a name with a face.
Thinking about college? Direct Connect at Daytona State College can put you on the fast track to UCF. Through Direct Connect, DSC and UCF will guide you from your freshman year at DSC through your senior year at UCF, leading you on a path toward success. In fact, when you earn your AA at DSC, you are guaranteed admission as a junior to any Florida public university. Find out more at daytonastate.edu or call 386-506-4DSC.
It's time to claim your career. Daytona State's newest certificate program in hospitality beverage science combines theory and practical hands-on instruction on a range of beverage production processes like craft brewing and wines. Learn how to pair wines and beer with appropriate food choices, produce various styles of beers and wines, as well as how to manage, merchandise, and market beverages. Call 386-506-4DSC or visit us online at daytonastate.edu.
Beautiful Saturday afternoon in Daytona Beach, Florida, and we are live inside the Gail Lemerand Center on the campus of Daytona State University. And at the half, the women's game between Daytona State and Florida State College of Jacksonville. It's the Falcons. The big run late in the half, strong second quarter, and they lead the Blue Wave 34-23. And Tom James alongside Ted Sofianos, and Ted, this Falcons ball club, they outscored the team from Jacksonville 20-9 in the second half, and so they really started to assert themselves as time went on.
Oh, definitely over 50% as far as their field goals were concerned. 73% for Daytona State with their free throws, so they're looking pretty darn good, and their stats just got better. And a prophetic statement from Coach Washington: we start slow, but then they show momentum into the halftime.
Well, a lot of depth on this team as we take a look at some of the first half highlights from this game. It was really a competitive game in the early going, especially through the first quarter, tied at 14 after one quarter. But, the transition, the defense started to work for the Falcons. Offense created from defense for Florida State College of Jacksonville as well. And two pretty evenly matched teams in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, it was like the tale of two quarters there. First quarter, like Coach Washington was saying, a little bit slow for Daytona State. They came out of it. You had mentioned, Tom, that they might be a little rusty from like a 8-day hiatus. And then, as you can see, they really poured it on that second quarter, especially the latter half of that second quarter.
Yeah, no question about it. And I think one of the big differences for Daytona State, as you see, Coach Janice Washington right there, as the half wore on, was the rebounding. And they finished the half with an 18-12 rebounding advantage. Nobody in double figures in this game scoring-wise, but for Daytona State, Jayla Atmore leading the way with 7 points. Green and Sam with 6 points apiece. It's Demerit for Florida State College of Jacksonville leads all scorers with 8 points. One of the problems for the Blue Wave moving forward, I think, in the second half is depth. They only dressed 7 players today as we're underway here in the third quarter. One of those players has 4 fouls, Shalise Ross, so keep an eye on that. Ross is in the lineup here to start the third quarter. She's got to be awfully careful. It is tough when you've got 7 players dressed to face the prospect of possibly losing any of them.
Yeah, Coach Wooten probably told them, listen, you're just going to have to give away some shots here. So we acknowledge that we have a number of fouls against us and the short bench, of course.
Just 2 players on the bench right now.
Good job.
FSC Jacksonville.
By our camera crew pointing that out as we were mentioning before. And that was a great observation you started with, Tom, at the very beginning of the game.
And wow, we have a moment. Just a shout out to our entire crew in the studios and the production room out here on the cameras, and a 3-pointer made from outside. A gift Sampson with a great start for the Blue Wave here in the third quarter as they cut the deficit down to 8.
How about the arc on that shot? That almost hit the rafters.
Second 3-pointer in the game for the Blue Wave. And both of them have come from Sampson as Daytona State turns it over. So Sampson with a pair of threes. She's got 8 points. And that look on Coach Washington's face pretty well says it all.
Yeah. I think Grismore was smiling after that call in their favor. She knew that it was not supposed to be their ball.
And Mansell gets her own rebound on the miss from the corner. As a pull-up from Demerit. She's the first player in double figures with 10 points.
Wow, that was very loose defense by Daytona State. They were standing around.
Yeah, there's a lot of flat-footed, you see there on defense from the Falcons. Again, they're already kind of magic markered in for the 2 seed in the upcoming conference tournament this week. So there's really nothing at stake for them today except for pride, and they want to be sharp headed into the postseason. Penetrating in is Walker, and she draws the foul. And we'll shoot free throws.
Melissa Sam had one-on-one below the rim there, and they couldn't get into her. She was getting frustrated.
As Coach Wooten has a discussion with Demerit. Walker makes the first.
Conley, so 7-point lead. Just over 8 to go in the third quarter.
Demerit picked up her second foul for the Blue Wave. That one in and out with a whistle, and that's underneath. Lane violation. Check that. The personal foul is going to be called against Sam of Daytona State.
Daytona State trying to trap there on the defense. Nice idea.
Losing the handle momentarily. And defense comes out to trap. They try to go over the top, and it's taken away by Melissa Sam. Check that. Williams with the great defense and a tie-up underneath. The alternating possession is going to give the basketball to Jacksonville.
That was the first jump ball of the game.
The Falcons lead at 35-28 here. A little more than 2 minutes gone in the third quarter.
There, Daytona State showing a kind of little baby press there.
Up top to Demerit. Down in the corner and cut off by Walker. Shot in the air is short, and the Falcons have it. Walker feeds inside to Sam. Up and good, and the foul.
And count it, wow. Very impressive, Sam underneath there. That's, I think, why she was calling for it. She knew even in that was double coverage.
Yeah.
Good job, here's a replay.
Look at Sam with it. Moves down on the blocks in the interior, scores the bucket. Impressive pass that time by Atmore, and she completes the three-point play. So the lead back up to double digits for Daytona State, 38-28. Maybe a little more pep in their step right now as they try to close out the regular season on a winning note.
I think, though, if you're Coach Wooten, to be doing decently, I'd say, certainly decently with just a couple of players on the bench. Impressive.
Walker on the miss by Sampson. Ball knocked out of bounds, stripped away. Last touched, says the official, by Walker. And so the Blue Wave will get it back. And all the sophomores for Daytona State, 5 of them in uniform today, and they all 5 started this basketball game. Final regular season, they're going to change the call. The official is going to give it to Daytona State after first giving it to the Blue Wave. So the Falcons have got it. The sophomores were able to start their final regular season home game. And poked away. Here comes Jacksonville. Good defense, able to hound all the way down the floor was Carmela Walker, making life difficult for Grismore right there.
Actually, during halftime, they did a really nice celebration of the sophomores and their contributions for Daytona State here being, the home team. Some plaques and, signed photos and whatnot given out during that halftime interim.
It was a nice ceremony, and really family and friends on hand as well, and of course a shorter stint at the JUCO level, just 2 years, but important nonetheless to recognize as Sam takes it away on the inbounds pass. All the way to the hole, up off the glass, high off the glass, and good, Batista, and she'll go to the line.
My goodness, Batista. Just coming out of nowhere with that play. Gorgeous play.
Tell you what, and watch again as this basketball hits almost at the top of the backboard. Camera even can't go that high. It was so high up off the very top of the backboard, and it came down and fell through, and she knocks down the free throw.
Completes the trifecta.
That's right. 13-point lead for Daytona State as some token pressure, three-quarter court pressure. The idea there, trying to make the Blue Wave eat into the shot clock a little bit more. Taken away again. And now defense really starting to step up for the Falcons now is all the way.
Wow.
The steal and the bucket, Paris Williams, and a timeout is called for by Coach Wooten of the Blue Wave. And seeing her team now go from up 4 at one point in the second quarter to down 15 now as we just tick under 6 minutes to play here in the third quarter.
You know, a .174, percentage for the year as far as wins and losses for Coach Wooten. But you know what? I've been watching her continue to coach, continue to inspire, continue to encourage. And, that's got to be tough when you've been down that many games. But obviously she sees the future. She knows she's got a lot of upcoming freshmen for the following year, and she is looking past what has obviously been happening this particular season.
Well, make no mistake, there is talent on this roster for sure for Coach Wooten. You see her there, and she's never stopped coaching. This is more than just about basketball for her and her team, and she's said that many times.
Oh, we've seen some great plays, from Manziel and Grismore, Ross.
This team will never quit. That's part of their DNA. It's been a tough year, but they fight until the final buzzer. 7 on the shot clock. Penetrating in, Sampson loses it on the floor, trying to keep it alive, and does, and just beating the shot clock with the bucket is Mansell.
Really good job there, not to give up, the possession arrow. Well done.
And Sampson able to maneuver on the floor to keep the Daytona State players away from trying to tie her up until she could find somebody to pass it to. Got it to Mansell, who just beat the shot clock. Paris Williams on the other end.
Making it look easy. And, of course, you start factoring in 7 players. Fatigue certainly going to be a part of this later quarters that we're playing, that we're in right now, with about 4, coming down to 4.5 in the third.
All the way with it. Sampson no good. Kept alive.
Ooh.
3 from the corner, no. Loose ball underneath. Falcons will get possession as substitution for the Blue Wave as
you saw
Bryant checks back in.
You saw the activity at Demerit underneath there, number 4 for the Blue Wave out of Nassau, Bahamas. Had the pleasure of going there a couple of times. Beautiful place.
Not a bad place to be from, and maybe visit often.
Cable Beach.
Yeah.
Very nice area.
Yep.
The opposite of Atlantis.
Spent some time there. It's a wonderful place to be. There's no question. A lot of good basketball talent that comes out of the Bahamas. People might not be aware of. Buddy Hield, who's a great player for Oklahoma now in the NBA, is from the Bahamas. And a great bucket underneath right there from Brooke Worrell. And a foul on the other end will send Grismore to the free throw line. They love their basketball down in the Bahamas. Had the opportunity of spending some time down there over Thanksgiving weekend this past year to be on the call for the Junkanoo Jam women's basketball tournament with some great Division I colleges down there. And they love their hoops in the Bahamas. The locals
definitely
come out to watch.
And obviously it's, logically, as far as the regional demographics, you got the Bahamas, 330 miles basically, southwest of Orlando. I know this particular college has a number of international folks, a number of them from the Bahamas and Jamaica and other Caribbean nations.
15-point game. Down the baseline, nice dish from Green to Batista. And Batista slow to get up right there after making the bucket. And
oh, thank goodness she's going to be okay.
Hobbled, but she's going to come out of the ball game as Coach Washington is to bring in a substitution. I believe it's a Robinson that's going to come in, and she's going to have that ankle checked out.
Yeah, Batista just got nudged ever so slightly. I mean, certainly, nothing wrong with what occurred. It was just body to body, and just got nudged and came down, and luckily was able to avert coming with all her might and weight on the one ankle. So good that she's going to be okay. You don't want to lose her.
And a trap right at midcourt. And the ball taken away. The Falcons will have possession on the alternating possession on the tie-up right there. And it's Daytona State now enjoying its largest lead of the afternoon at 17 points, up 49-32.
And there again was Grismore from the Blue Wave, 5'4", in the center activity. Impressed with her play today.
And a traveling violation called against Paris Williams there in the lane.
Number of stoppages in play here, not a lot of flow thus far in this third quarter.
Florida State College needs a strong finish to this quarter, Ted, to try to make it competitive headed to the fourth, and now they've seen their deficit grow to 17 points. This is kind of the danger zone.
Demerit calling it. As we
Inside.
said, from the Bahamas.
Yeah, that's right. Sampson with a nice little fade away. And the blocks for the bucket.
Oh, my apologies, yeah. Forrest Sampson.
3 minutes to play. Third quarter. Daytona State in front comfortably by 15 points. Three from the corner, no good. From Green, but the weak side rebound taken out there by Atmore and a fresh shot clock.
Yeah, with a fresh shot clock, I would want to try to play it down past the 10-second mark. Looks like that's what they're doing.
Penetrating in. Sam no good. Out of bounds, last touched by Daytona State. Still just one player in this game. It's Demerit in double figures for Florida State College. Daytona State with 8 different players in the scoring column, and they've really spread it out pretty evenly here today.
Yeah, exactly.
Great team effort. Well, inside-outside game for Florida State College. High up off the back iron and out of bounds and making contact with some of the stanchion up there, some of the wiring.
Yeah.
Give it back to the Falcons with under 2 minutes now left third quarter. Nice play underneath, just unable to finish was Worrell.
Yeah, Worrell bobbled that a little bit.
What a move, little Euro step and the bucket for Zoe Grismore. And if you watch that basketball, Ted, it went around and then back around another time before deciding to fall through.
That never happens to me in golf, Tom. Never.
Burning the lip, huh? Too many times and never falling
Never
in.
no.
I feel your pain.
I've never had a double rim like that. No.
With 1:27 to play in the third quarter, and that's the fourth foul against Gift Sampson of the Blue Wave. So
the shot of Coach Washington, venting a little frustration there.
And a free throw in and out from Green. So Gift Sampson now, another Blue Wave player to collect 4 fouls. Teetering on the brink right there. A couple of those players with 4 fouls now. Her and Ross. Still aggressive defense being played by the Blue Wave. 3-pointer left wing off the glass, no good. And taken away at half court. And up and under, no good. Worrell had a look at it.
That was a nice try on the reverse there.
A bullet pass underneath. The blue wave on the second opportunity. It's Harris who scores and draws the foul.
I tell you, Tom, we've seen some exciting plays, though, from both ends. Some great talent displayed from both teams.
Yep. Atmore called for the foul. It's her second. And the free throw is good, so the three-point play converted. Marina Harris.
Carrie Lee, the freshman, going to see some playing time here. Number 3.
10-point game. Daytona State's led by as many as 17, so Florida State College on a 7-0 run right now. From the corner, a 3, and that's that player again we talked about in the first half, Danica Hamilton, one to watch, a freshman.
Making that net sizzle. A shawoosh.
That playing time for her is going to skyrocket. Look at her on defense with the takeaway. Lost it out of bounds, but aggressiveness, a real crafty player. Great vision on both ends of the floor.
I like the way Hamilton read that.
Daytona State's got it again, and that was a ugly pass. Throwing it into traffic that time, and Coach Washington's not going to like that with 13.1 left third quarter. And a timeout called for by Daytona State. 52-39, and Ted, you got to hand it, Florida State College hanging around. And Coach Wooten, despite being so undermanned in terms of personnel today.
Well, Tom, you had mentioned the other 2 times that these teams have met. Well, a little bit of blowout in both occasions. This is not.
Hey.
And you got to hand it to Coach Wooten, though, to be this close. Again, with the lack of depth on that bench. And I know I've said that a number of times, and I keep repeating it, but I'm amazed at the job that's been done by the Blue Wave at this point in time.
She's doing a tremendous job, and her staff. And if you keep in mind, they've got a couple of players right now of the 7 that are dressed. And a couple of players with 4 fouls. Gift Sampson, number 4, is in the game. And Shalise Ross, number 22, also with 4 fouls. She's in the game. So both of them playing with 4 fouls. Final seconds here of the third quarter. And they turn it over. So Florida State College now will have 3 seconds to do something with it offensively to try to get a final look. And you see the Falcons going to tighten up on defense down there. Throw over the top. It's Bryant. Got to put it up and never got a chance to get a shot away.
Good swarming defense shown by Daytona State there.
Terrific job by both Carrie Lee and Danica Hamilton to trap over there on that sideline and keep Florida State College from getting any kind of a shot away. So through 3 quarters here at the Lemerand Center. Daytona State, they led by as many as 17. They will head to the 4th quarter up by 13, 52-39. And Ted, you get the feeling if you're Florida State College of Jacksonville right now in this huddle, Coach Wooten telling her girls that we've got to start quickly here in the 4th quarter. Gain a little momentum, try to quickly cut this thing perhaps to single digits, the deficit, so that we give ourselves a chance in the final 10 minutes.
And then conversely, if you're Coach Washington, you're saying do not get sloppy, practice the fundamentals, spread the floor, kill the time, and look for, obviously, Sam below when she's covered only one-on-one.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no match right, and there's no matchup for Sam right now.
And if you wonder if you're Daytona State, you might want to take it at a couple of those players with the 4 fouls. You know Sampson for the Blue Wave. You know she's got 4. You know Ross has 4. Maybe try to take it right at him, draw the foul him out of the game, and that makes just life that much more difficult.
Exactly.
For this team from Jacksonville. So we'll
Point
see.
well taken.
Fourth quarter underway. 13-point game. On the baseline. Shot no good. Fight for it underneath. Falcons on the run. Carrie Lee pulls up. Oof. Off the mark. Hamilton there had it for a moment on the rebound.
As we were mentioning before, Tom, certainly the Blue Wave is not out of this game by any means. 9:21 left. 13-point deficit.
Tough defense right there for Daytona State. 3 on the way from Sampson. It's her own rebound. Inside to Harris. And that is behind Grismore, and that is an over and back violation.
Actually, I think the ref here closest to us showing it was a deflection.
So you're right, and very astute. Good notice in that, Ted, because the official closest to us, as you said, and that's Shendell Bryant, noticed that a Daytona State player did touch that basketball and deflected it. So it will stay with Florida State College. Good eye, my friend, all over it.
Well, now they're under 10 seconds. They're going to have to do something here.
All the way to the hole, no good. Fight for the rebound. Ross had it for a moment.
2v1.
Hamilton. And what a give and go as Hamilton found Green. Back to Hamilton. That's how you run the fast break if you're Daytona State.
Nicely run.
And that'll give Coach Washington a little a little smile anyway.
I saw the bench jump up there. I think they're waiting for the center, Miss Copeland, to come on back and shake that rim again.
Well, we saw that in the first half. All the way, knocked out. The Blue Wave will keep it. Ted, you're referring to Gianna Zara Copeland, the 6'5" center for Daytona State, who really went in. And there's a turnover, the 5-second violation for Florida State College. They'll give it away, but she went in for the dunk in the first half. She went in for the dunk, lost the basketball, and but had a great piece of that rim. There's no question about it.
Bad turnover there.
Ross.
Nice.
Converts. 2 minutes gone, fourth quarter at the Lemerand Center. The women's game between Daytona State College, Florida State College of Jacksonville. We've got the men's game still to come here in our live coverage this afternoon. What a great defensive play from behind Demerit. Demerit as Hamilton chases her down to knock that one out of bounds.
Well done. Hamilton, a rush of guilt there.
Yeah.
She knew she had turned it over and got fiercely back to knock that ball out. Good tenacity.
Inbounded to Gift Sampson. Sampson penetrating. The foul's going to be against Lee of Daytona State. On the blocking foul. So Gift Sampson to the free throw line. Gift has 10 points. Her and Demerit in double figures for Florida State College. In and out on the first free throw. Kaya Fulton checking in place of Lee for the Falcons.
Fulton getting some playing time, haven't called her number for a while.
Sampson's second free throw. She averages 8.2 points per game. This is on both, and those are costly. She's over her average, though, today.
Still looking at a 13-point deficit for the Blue Wave.
Those free throws, an opportunity to score undefended with the clock not running. Those are the things you've got to take advantage of if you're an undermanned team like this who's playing from behind. Great defense. Gisborne, but Bryant couldn't finish.
Yeah, that was a rare miss by Bryant.
Green. A three from the corner. Grismore's got it. Hits the three.
You know, we've mentioned Grismore's name quite a few times. Only one turnover I can recall from her the whole entire game. Been so active. Really shown a lot of talent today.
And Grismore with 12 points. Whistle underneath. Harris called for the foul. It's 3 on Harris. You know, as much as this action in this game has been played inside, not a lot of three-point shooting. 3 threes made for Florida State College, 2 for Daytona State, so a lot of interior basketball today. And to still, with 6:31 left, we only have 7 players dressed, and none of them to have fouled out yet for the Blue Wave.
That is amazing. And they've still been playing great defense as well.
And the fouls have piled up, but they've spread them out a little bit, so. Shot no good as
Hamilton with the rebound. Takes it all the way, rebound and the shot.
Yeah, actually Atmore.
Atmore.
With the, started it and finished it for the Falcons.
Yeah, I'm going to put my glasses back on, Tom, because 15 and 12, that shouldn't be too hard to figure out. Okay.
Well, Atmore's got 9 points now tonight as we dip under 6 minutes to play. Lead back up to 14 for Daytona State. And a block on the perimeter. There's Hamilton. And another opportunity from outside. But there's Hamilton you were looking for earlier. That was her on that block. And she finishes on the offensive end.
Can I say Hamilton this time?
You saw the future. You saw the future on the last possession. You were just a possession ahead.
Tom, you're generous. You gave me a way out. Appreciative.
And the lead up to 16.
Oh, that was a great pass.
Atmore penetrating. Look at her slice through the defenders to the hole.
Wow. Talent galore there on that move.
Telling you what. Atmore with the bucket. And take another look at Hamilton's the block on the three-point shot. Look at her flying out there on defense. The three-pointer was launched, and then Hamilton raced down the floor, was ready for that pass, and able to finish. She is a special talent.
Gorgeous
Mika
play.
Hamilton, yeah, the freshman, just 5'5" from Spruce Creek High, Deltona, Florida. You just get the feeling that she is one to watch. There she is right there coming out of the huddle, number 15, and just a special talent.
5'10", sophomore.
She's got 7 points now. Couple of steals, a blocked shot as we just saw, the assist. She's turned it over a couple of times, but 3 rebounds, so a little bit of everything we've seen from her. So keep an eye out for Hamilton as we get into the postseason. And, of course, for next year, looking ahead for this Falcons ball club, she could be a rising star.
Melissa Sam already signed with Delaware State University, Division I. Number of other sophomores being looked at by Division I and II schools. Undecided at this point for the most part.
We had Melissa Sam on our Falcons Athletic Network coaches show a couple of weeks ago, along with Coach Washington. And certainly a terrific talent. We wish her all the best as she heads off to Delaware State. They've got a good one coming their way.
Falcons since Christmas have not lost one game.
And that one, that's a two-pointer, but a nice jumper from outside, right up top with just 1 foot on the line, and 62-46, Daytona State. There is Hamilton, and that's a 3.
Hamilton.
From the left wing.
Looking good there. Nice stroke.
Into double figures. Danica Hamilton joining just Atmore in double figures today. Taken away. Tough defense. And outraces the defender. Melissa Sam scores the bucket. Sam now with 11.
And that was Harris being careful not to foul. Sam playing defense.
21-point ball game. Yes, the Blue Wave is appearing to just kind of run out of gas as the time goes on here in this game, but they've really given it quite the effort. Nice bucket underneath as Ross scores it, but in the corner right now, it Gift Sampson, it looks like he turned an ankle and is going to head to the bench for the Blue Wave.
Yeah, and a fair amount of pain there.
Yeah, these players, they played a lot of minutes. All of them. Just 7 players dressed, and they've dressed 7 players. 8 players for Daytona State have scored points.
Whoa. That was Fulton, I believe, off the glass.
22-point lead. Harris lost out of bounds by Ross.
Didn't look the ball into the hands. Do that so often.
And a turnover inside. Falcons are going to be lucky to get that one back as Harris couldn't quite track it down before it went out of bounds. But the postseason starts on Monday, Ted. The Women's Mid-Florida Conference playoffs. Of course, 2 teams from the Mid-Florida Conference will get berths in the state tournament. Saved from going out of bounds and fight for it there in front of the Florida State College bench, and the tie-up, and it'll give it back to Daytona State. So here's how it's going to shake out for the women in the Mid-Florida Conference playoffs. It'll be on Monday. Florida State College here is the 3rd, or they will be the 4th seed. So they will play at the College of Central Florida on Monday night. The winner of that game comes here Tuesday to play Daytona State College. Daytona State is the 2 seed. Santa Fe has won the conference regular season. They're the 1 seed, so they've already earned a berth into the state playoffs. But of the 3 other teams, they're all fighting for that one other berth. Daytona State is the 2 seed. They get the bye and will host Tuesday night.
If by chance Florida State College Jacksonville wins that game, and then they have to play back-to-back games with such a short bench.
Not only back-to-back games, that would be 3 games in 4 days.
Right.
And a lot of travel and a whistle underneath, and it's going to go against Melissa Sam of Daytona State with a $1:54 on the clock. Okay. And that's number 4 on Sam.
As she comes out, along with Walker.
And taken away on the inbounds play. Carrie Lee stumbles. Kind of helter-skelter right now, back and forth. Falcons out of there with it.
Now with a 22-point lead, Daytona State getting close to matching their average points per game.
Carrie Lee for 3, no. Copeland had a hand on it. Falcons maintain possession.
Fresh shot clock with that.
Inside, Copeland with those long arms, able to corral that basketball and draw the foul. And Coach Wooten for Florida State College asking the official for a 3-second violation to have been called against Copeland, but not to be. Copeland will shoot 2 free throws.
Coach Wooten pleading her case to the official about 3-second calls in the paint there.
Copeland knocks it down. Copeland with 5 points. Looking for 6, and she's got it. Holds that basketball for quite a period of time. And kind of a cliffhanger there before she lets that one go. As we
winding on down here, Tom.
Yeah, we dip inside the final minute at the Lemerand Center, and it's been Daytona State who has taken charge in this basketball game, and the foul is going to be against Hamilton of Daytona State. But all things considered, if you're a fan of Florida State College, you certainly have to be proud of their effort today, being undermanned.
Well, Tom, as we look forward to the doubleheader, men coming up at 4 p.m. in just about 20 minutes.
Inside Copeland, no good. Blocked from behind, still able to come up with those offensive rebounds. And a foul underneath against Harris.
Copeland's case is you should have called it the first time, ref.
Yeah. It's the 4th foul on Harris. And still, Florida State College has managed to keep all 7 players in this game, despite they've spread the fouls out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Done a good job with that.
Yeah, they have.
I mean, I think you and I, at the beginning of this game, would have forecasted that one of them's got to foul out. But good job. Good job. That's showing a lot of discipline there.
Copeland missing on that free throw. 73-50.
Grismore popping right back up there. Both Tom and I have commented on Grismore's play throughout the day today.
Yeah, Grismore she's worked hard all afternoon. 12 points, make it 13 on the day for her. Sampson with 12, Demerit with 10 for Florida State College. So 3 players in double figures, 3 of the 7 in uniform.
And as we approach the inevitable here for the win, I think Florida State College at Jacksonville holds its head up high as they take the bus home.
15 seconds on the shot clock, about a 2-second difference. Shot clock, game clock. Williams. And finishing underneath is Copeland. And a timeout called for by the Blue Wave of Florida State College. Some final words of encouragement to be handed out by their coach, Varvinia Wooten, in her 3rd season. And yes, it has been a tough year for Florida State College. They will finish the regular season 4-23, 1-8 in Mid-Florida Conference play. But it's not over yet. They do have the game on Monday night. They'll travel to Ocala to play the College of Central Florida. So if they can pull that off on the road, tough prospect, they can pull it off. If they do, they'll be back here on Tuesday night to play Daytona State.
And of course, if
that's
that
a lot
was,
of basketball.
if that was to occur, I mean, Daytona State would feel happy with that scenario based on the past efforts and the scoreboards now 3 times played. How about Coach Wooten, though? Taking a time out there at 7.8 seconds just to say, hey, let's finish here with a set play basket. Finish off on a good note. Great thought process there, Coach. Good job.
Yep. More than just basketball with her team, her approach. Final seconds, taken away by Lee. And that will do it. So Daytona State has another 20-win season under its belt as they close out the regular season with the victory. They finish at 20-9, 7-2 in the Mid-Florida Conference, and they are the 2 seed headed into the Mid-Florida Conference playoffs, and they will await on Tuesday night the winner of Monday's game, Florida State College of Jacksonville versus CF. They'll play that game on Tuesday night right here for a berth in the state playoffs. Up next, we've got the men's game. Daytona State College hosting Florida State College of Jacksonville. Tip time at 4 o'clock. So our final from the Lemerand Center. It's Florida State College of Jacksonville 75, Daytona State 75, Florida State College 52. For Ted Sofianos on our entire crew, I'm Tom James saying so long from the Lemerand Center. We'll be back in a few minutes for the men's game live.